Welcome in the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday nights on your television set. Welcome in. Jamie McCracken alongside Lauren Cash. As always, lots on the show tonight, including the 14th Region All-A Championship games on the boys and girls side.
Yes, plus a quadruple overtime game is featured in this week's Sports Overtime Rewind and a chance to play in the AFC and NFC Championships as Super Bowl 50 is just a few weeks away.
Let's start with the 14th ranked basketball Cats at Auburn today. 18 wins in a row against the Tigers. The longest SEC win streak. The last time Kentucky beat Auburn. Gladiator won Best Picture. The Dixie Chicks were the entertainers of the year. And the 4th Harry Potter book is released. Name that book and year, Lauren.
Goblet of Fire, and I have no idea what year that was.
Oh, I was supposed to have it posted just in case you got it wrong. You got the book right. It was the year 2000.
Okay, I was 10.
Of course you got the Harry Potter thing right. Let's go to the highlights. Bruce Pearl, John Calipari. Neither one of those guys probably read Harry Potter.
Probably not.
Shake it up. Let's do it. First half, Tyler Ewell. So he's blocked there by the other Tyler. Tyler Harris, and then Harris up to Horace Spencer. Jamming it home. Auburn up by 3, and the crowd's loving it. Later, Isaiah Briscoe off the miss. That's Marcus Lee. 1-point game. Still first half. Kareem Canty, dude, balled out. Little floater there. He had 26 in the game. Back to Briscoe now. Dishes it to Scal of BCA. Scal played just 8 minutes. Had 4 points. 7 seconds to go in the half. Jarek Willis. Woo! Buckets.
Bullet East.
Monster day for him. 12 points, 12 rebounds. First time in his career he had a double-double for Derek Willis. Let's go second half. Eulis. Oh, he's so good. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2-point lead for Kentucky, but no one stopping Canty. And one. Auburn has a 1-point lead. A minute to go in the game. Tyler Harris. That's playground ball right there. Step back, right in your face. Auburn up a triple. Tigers make the free throws late as a 4-point game. Eulis pulls up for a 3. It doesn't matter. Auburn upsets Kentucky. First time the Tigers have beat the Wildcats since 2000. First time they've beat them, a ranked opponent, since 2009 against LSU. Let's go to the highlights. Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. The final score 75-70 in Auburn Arena. 4th loss for the 14th ranked Cats on the season. John Calipari, what up?
You know, it's just disappointing when stuff is being said. Like last year, you beat West Virginia by 100. This year, like where's the fight in this? So that was disappointing. But the biggest thing is, look, and I want to say this in the right way. We have a 12-point lead. I'll go back and look. We have to make winning plays. We don't.
Woo. Coming up next for Kentucky is Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena, so the Wildcats stay on the road.
Yeah, this game is next Thursday, January 21st, 7 o'clock tip time on ESPN. The two teams played twice last year, with Kentucky winning both games, including the SEC championship game against the Razorbacks. Well, coming up next on the show, the boys and girls 14th Region All-A Championship highlights, including the Cordia Lions trying to make it back to Frankfort.
And also later on the show, Border Bowl, Kentucky versus Tennessee. We'll go to Williamsburg for some highlights. Come back. Welcome back. The Cordia Lions have been waiting for this moment. After a year filled with sanctions and southeastern Kentucky gossip, the tiny school in the middle of nowhere, Hyman, was back in the spotlight tonight. Still not eligible for the big state championship, the Sweet 16, but the Lions are qualified for the All-A. So a trip to Frankfort is their only shot at a state title this year. Gotta win the 14th Region All-A Championship first before you go to the state. It's the Lions taking on June Buchanan and the Ship. Second half, third quarter, Hunter Hammond. Strong take. JBS up 6. Hammond goes for 9 points. Right at the end of the third quarter, loose ball in the air. Zeke Bialis, 2 of his 7. Cordia down 2 going into the fourth quarter, and that's where things get wild. Anthony Nelson and 1. 15 on the night. The Lions D'ing it up now. A.J. Chisholm with the steal and chiz on the break, and a little Euro step and a lot of English right there. Play's not over though. How about this? Look at Lulu getting after it, punching it out to Raymond Mercado. Get some. JBS needs a timeout. It's a 6-0 run by the Lions, puts them up by 4. Crusaders need a bucket. Who do they go to? They go to the Fro. Steven Silvers. Corner pocket. The Fro goes for 8 tonight. This is where Cordia is at its best, though. Off the rebound, running the floor. Nelson, no looker to Mercado. Cordy up 7. Fast forward, 13.7 seconds left in the game. 3-point game. Hammond makes it a 2-point game. So we got 8 seconds left. 2-point game. Kareem McDonough, he missed his first free throw. Bro, just at least make the second, right? No! JBS with a chance. Silvers, ball in his hands. Oh no. Oh, that doesn't work. He doesn't even get a shot off. Cordia Nation can celebrate. Lions are cutting down the nets and headed to Frankfurt. Go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Lulu loving it. Cordia wins the all-not county 14th region All-A Championship 50-48 over JBS. Lulu with 16 tonight. Nelson with 15, as I mentioned. They, of course, weren't eligible last year. The Lions weren't. The year before that, they made it to the championship Sunday in Frankfurt. We'll see what they can do this time. Here's Coach Rhodes.
We're excited to be back. We've been waiting a long time for this, and I'm really happy for the community, Lots Creek community in Cordia. We've been through a lot. We endured a lot. Kids stuck together. They believed in what we were doing, and we told them we would ultimately be back here, and this is where we're at.
I'm a senior, and I'm happy that we making it back to Frankfurt. The first year that I went to, it was a great experience. Came runner up, and now that's we trying to bring back the state championship.
I can't get over that bucket. There's just so much English on that. Cordia will play the winner of the 4th region tournament in the first round at Frankfurt, so it'll be either Clinton County, Glasgow, Cumberland County, Todd County, or the defending champs, Monroe County, having a down season, though, out at Maroon County. This game is set for an 8:30 a.m. tip time Thursday. Come on, man. January 29th at the Frankfurt Convention Center. I can't wait, but those 8:30 tip times, it's not good.
Let's go to the girls now. Girls 14th Region All-A Championship. Hazard, Breathitt County. First quarter.
Wallace Banks, he's ready to go.
Yep.
He said, we're going to play Breathitt County basketball.
First quarter, Haley Cottle. That's a splash ball. Hazard, though, down 5-3. Same quarter now, Cottle to Olivia Holland. Ball rattles in. Hazard down just 1. Just a monster first half by Casey Cox. Right in your eye hole. We'll see her in a little bit, too. First, back to Cottle.
She's really good. I
The
love her.
running floater. Wallace Bates in the huddle.
Settle down. Slow it down right now. You're going way too fast. That's what they want you to do.
And that's what Breathitt does, slows it down. Gets it to Amanda Griffith. She gets buckets. Lady Cats lead by 5. Griffith had 12. Later in the second quarter, Cox driving, scoring.
She had a big night.
The run is stopped, though. Colby Johnson goes down into Holland. 1 dribble and a shot, all net, plus the foul. Hazard down 6 after the free throw, but then Cottle goes back to doing Haley Cottle things. Zigzags, gets in the paint, ump it in. She had a game-high 23. Things could not have gone worse for Hazard with under a minute to go in the first half, though, or in the half, though. Casey Cox catches the inbounds pass, lights it up from downtown. Next possession, 6 seconds to go. Cox again.
Yeah.
2 splash balls to end the half. Let's go to the scoreboard. And for the first time in school history, the Lady Cats win an All-A region title. They win 69-49 behind Cox's 22 points.
And she balled out. Nobody's guarding her. So now Breathitt County punches its ticket to state, and now they wait. They will play the champ of Region 4. Their All-A tourney starts on Monday, January 18th. One of those 5 teams listed will get Breathitt County in the opening round of the All-A state tournament in Frankfurt. Clinton County, Cumberland County, Todd County, all those guys.
Peyton Broughton and the number 6 North Laurel Jaguars taking on Isaac Cottle and Knott Central. They're both out in the 15th region at Pike Central High School for the Hawks Classic. Now from the start, North Laurel was hitting from outside. There's Jarrett Lips. Swishes the 3 ball, puts the Jags up 3 in the first quarter. Adam Sizemore here. Dishes it to Bryson Asher. Big man, straight away. 3 of his 12. North is up 8. Jags now showing patience on offense. Peyton Broughton backdoor. And then he's going to finish. 2 of his 21 on the night. North Laurel scored 29 points in the first quarter. One guy that North had a hard time stopping all night, though, was that guy. Isaac Cottle goes baseline. Nice finish. Led all scorers with 24. Not, though, a big hill to climb in the second half. They trimmed the deficit to single digits, but North Laurel's athleticism just, well, they outlasted Knott Central. Let's go to the scoreboard. North Laurel wins 69-58. Isaac Cottle led all scoring with 24. Teammate Cameron Jones added 10 points off the bench. North Laurel, Peyton Broughton with 21. Bryson Asher with 12.
You almost hit me again, I think. All right, the host team of the Hawks Classic, Pike Central, taking on Rock Creek Academy out of Indiana. Nobody puts a hand in his face, so James Dunlap says, I'll take it straight away. He had a team-high 14 on the night. Off the PCC miss here, ball gets tipped to Tyler Burnett, pulls up. Oh, I like it. That was pretty. He had a game-high 15. Pike Central down 5. UPike top play contender here, Seth Kahn. He's a quarterback, right?
Yep, saves it in.
Saves it. Nice little pass there to Teddy. It's Teddy Smith. He takes care of the rest of them, gets the bucket, plus the foul. Hawks down 4. Let's go fourth quarter. Rock Creek had a double-digit lead, but Central chipped away. There's Burnett's corner 3 ball goes, and then under a minute to play, Hawks down 6. Burnett! Ooh. Plus he got fouled, right? Mm-hmm. That's a 4-point play. Okay. He gets the free throw to go. Central down 2, but Rock Creek holds on to win it over the Hawks 55-51. The final out of Pike Central High School.
All right, the final game of the night from the Hawks Classic in Pike County Central High School. MAGOFFIN County and Phelps, the 2 Hornets teams getting together. The Hornets won the tip. MAGOFFIN, of course, first position in the game. That's a free throw line jumper. Dalton Peters puts MAGOFFIN County on the board first. The Maroon Hornets now back on offense. Trenton Russell, he goes inside and that just forces that ball through the hoop. MAGOFFIN County now up 4. Phelps, though, getting their offense flowing here. Christian mounts the drive, the finish. Ooh, and 1. Hornets, though, they're on the board, but they're still down 4. Trenton Russell was feeling it early for the Hornets here. Pops one from the wing. MAGOFFIN cruising in this one early. Defense now turning into offense for MAGOFFIN County. Peters up to, whose name have I said this entire highlight? Trenton Russell waits for the defender. I'll take those 2, thank you. Let's go to the scoreboard. MAGOFFIN County wins it 69-52 over the Phelps Hornets.
Okay, still to come on the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night.
Way over where we're supposed to be.
We got Border Bowl highlights, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yes, plus Patriots, Chiefs, Cardinals, Packers, the right to play in the AFC NFC Championship games online. Easy for me to say.
This show is sponsored. We can't cover up Appalachian Wireless.
Sorry.
Border Bowl today, Lauren.
Yes, the 9th annual National Guard Border Bowl going on this afternoon down in Williamsburg. Both Kentucky and Tennessee entering the game with 4 wins apiece in this series. The Kentucky All-Stars ready to go versus Tennessee. You see Austin Husky, one of Williamsburg, one of the 4 captains on the Kentucky side. And Husky played well at linebacker, stuffs E.J. Matthews there for the short gain. Tennessee leading, though, 3-0 in the first quarter.
I like that celebration.
Same drive, the leads increased to 6-0 with a 43-yard field goal from Carter Philippi. Same score in the second. Logan Walters rolls out to the left, decides to keep it, leaps into the end zone. That's a 14-yard score. Tennessee led 13-0 at the half. The Kentucky offense started slow but picked it up in the second half. Andre Davis connects with Lamarius Kinslow for the 20-yard score. Kinslow from Fern Creek High School in where? Louisville, Kentucky down 13-7.
I'm just waiting for a male kid to make it.
But the Tennessee offense was clicking. Walters, the quick pass to Kentel Williams, and Williams looks like he only has a clear path, but Keyshawn Walker strips it loose. However, Williams would recover the fumble in the end zone for the touchdown. Kentucky would add another score, but it was not enough. Tennessee regains the series advantage now at 5-4, winning this afternoon 29-14. Josh McKinney completes the coverage from Williamsburg.
A dreary afternoon weather-wise turned even more dreary for the Kentucky All-Stars as they fell to Tennessee 29-14 in the 9th annual National Guard Border Bowl.
Both teams had really good players. Both teams had players that can make big plays whenever, whatever part of the game, and just it was fun. It was really cool to see this talent, all this talent together on the field.
The Kentucky offense was shut out for nearly 45 minutes of game time before scoring its first points of the day with just more than 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter. But by that time, the rhythm it had found was too little too late.
Yeah, the first half we couldn't move the football, and we went to a little small package where we're just trying to grind it out, but it's not going to be able to get us some the yardages that we need by just chunk and dunk. We had to put it in the air, and we just was missing some people on the passes, missing them either short or long. So it's a growing experience for these young guys.
I just think at the beginning of the game we just didn't click. We offensive line, they just both sides of the ball they were just struggling to click and figure out how to run the play and control the defense.
43 players were able to represent Kentucky Saturday afternoon, and of the 43, 15 hail from the WYMT coverage area. and they say the opportunity they were given was something they had worked for their entire lives.
I appreciate it, man. I enjoy it. I think it's a good bonding experience, a way to get rivals together and compete and show who's the best in the States.
But since 8th grade year, I've played on the 8th grade All-Star team, and couldn't ask for a better experience than this.
It means a lot. It kind of makes you nervous when you think about it, just Kentucky, Tennessee, and how big that rivalry is. But to be a part of it is really cool.
Win, lose, or draw, the experience the players gained playing with and against the best of the best from the Bluegrass and Volunteer states is something they consider much more valuable than any score on a scoreboard.
Week 7 of the high school basketball season wrapped up tonight. Lots on the line, even though it's only mid-January. District games with district tournament seeding up for grabs, and our small schools are playing for a chance to reach the All-A state tournament. Check out Friday night's action in tonight's least famous recipe, Hazard in Whitesburg, Full Court Press. District doubleheaders, 13th and 14th region girls All-A tournaments, a heated crosstown rivalry doubleheader in Somerset. One player eclipses the 3,000 career point mark, while another inches ever closer to a record that stood for nearly 20 years. Friday night was packed with action. A 58th district showdown in Floyd County, Betsy Lane and South Floyd. The ladies needed extra time to decide the winner in this one, but Emily Kidd and the Lady Cats of Betsy Lane prevailed 79-73 in double overtime. On the boys' side, South Floyd snaps a 4-game skid and improves to 2-1 in district play with a 78-60 win over Betsy Lane. We go to the 13th region for our next district doubleheader. Whitley County welcomed in Corbin for a 50th district matchup. Both games followed a similar path. Whitley County hanging around in the first half, but both the Lady Redhounds and the Redhounds put the pedal to the metal in the second half, and Corbin sweeps Whitley County in 2 big district wins. Staying in the 13th region, the Girls All-A Classic Championship going on in Harlan with the Lady Dragons and Lindcamp. And Harlan advances past the Lady Cats 72-38 for their 3rd straight All-A state tournament appearance. Junior guard Jordan Brock was the MVP of the tournament. To the 14th region, Perry Central High School hosting the girls All-A semifinals. Whitney Creech and Jenkins faced off with BREATHITT. Creech put up 58 points, but it wasn't enough. The Lady Cats knock out Jenkins 77-69, but hashtag Creech Watch, Whitney now has 4,724 career points, just 225 points shy of breaking the all-time scoring record in the state of Kentucky. The second semifinal, Owsley County gave Hazard everything they could handle, but the Lady Bulldogs reached the 14th region All-A Classic Championship game. In the 12th region, Pulaski County and Southwestern met up in a crosstown rivalry matchup. Both the Warriors and the Lady Warriors took care of business. The boys improved to 13-2 on the season. The ladies are 13-3. And finally, our lone coverage area team in the 16th region, Morgan County. Senior Jordan Perry needed 17 points to reach the 3,000 career point mark. He finished with 25 as the Cougars beat East Carter. Perry is 369 points away from tying Elliott County's Jonathan Ferguson for the all-time scoring record in the 16th region. This has been the least famous recipe, Hazard in Whitesburg, Full Court Press. All right, Jamie, surely you've heard by now of our hashtag Creech Watch. Pretty sure it's sweeping the coverage area right now, I'm just saying.
It says I'm slow to the party.
You are slow to the party.
I was slow yesterday. I know what hashtag Creech Watch is, okay? It's a way to keep up with Jenkins senior guard Whitney Creech. So you should do hashtag Creech Watch as she inches closer and closer to that all-time scoring record.
Yes, just this past week in 2 games, she scored a total of 106 points, 48 in one, 58 in the other. That puts her career total at 4,724. 224 points away from tying the all-time scoring record set by Jamie Walls. She's only 278 points away from becoming the first high school athlete in the state of Kentucky to ever reach 5,000 career points. Great basketball player, great kid to represent the Jenkins community. We know she's making them proud. Creech signed to play basketball at Western Kentucky University. Hashtag Creech Watch.
Hashtag Creech Watch. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go down to Jenkins. I want to play her one-on-one.
No.
Be like, let's go.
Coming up later.
I couldn't beat her. So
Coming up later in the show, the Patriots and the Chiefs play for the right to go to the AFC Championship.
That's right.
game.
And Matthew Mitchell, here he is.
Great opportunity to turn around and try to correct some of those mistakes.
And Coach Mitchell's 9th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats will seek revenge when they take on Auburn Sunday. We'll preview that game. Sports Overtime Rewind time. Let's go back about 6 years, not too much. The Corbin Redhounds, they're always a contender in the 13th region, but have not won a region title since 2010.
However, in order to even reach the semifinals, the Hounds had to first get past Bell County in what was an instant classic in the first round.
Not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 overtimes is what it took for Corbin to outlast Bell County in the first round of the boys' 13th region tournament in 2010. The two teams entered the first round meeting having gone through 2 completely different seasons. The Redhounds were 25-3, had just beat South Laurel to win the 50th district championship, and had won 20 of their last 21 games. The Bobcats had just lost to Harlan County in the finals of the 52nd district tournament, and while they entered the regional tournament winners of 7 of their previous 9 games, were just 15-13 overall, with one of the losses coming to Corbin by 19 to open the season. This game, though, was clearly different. Bell County owned a 3-point lead after 1 quarter of play, and Kyle Lee pushed the lead to double digits in the second with his 3-pointer from the corner. But Corbin made its move. Taylor Jones turned his defense into offense, took the steal the length of the court, and laid it in for 2. And Isaac Wilson didn't want to be outdone. He did the same thing, and the Redhounds entered the locker room down just 1, 37-36. The second half was when things got really fun. Future Eastern Kentucky Colonel Ben Maiden, soft on the touch, gave the Bobcats a 2-point lead. Free throws would send the game to a first overtime. Both teams scored just 4 points in overtime. Corbin tried to make it 6, but Wilson's attempt was off the mark. Second OT, Maiden once more. That shot tied the game at 70. He tied for a team high with 22 points. Corbin with another chance to end it. Aaron Mann's shot was blocked. Wilson another shot at it. On to overtime number 3. The Bobcats led by 2 when they appeared to come up with the steal, but Keith Lowe was called for the foul, sending Travis Smith to the line. The sophomore calmly sank both attempts, and the Hounds and Cats continued into a 4th overtime. And the 4th overtime is when one team would pull away, and that team was Corbin. Brody Freeman with 2 of his 9 points on the putback, and the Redhounds marched on 88-80. With leading scorer Madison Johnson fouling out with just 5 points on 1 of 11 shooting, Wilson turned in a memorable performance, going off for 43 points, connecting on 13 of his 21 shot attempts, and playing in all but 15 seconds of the 48-minute marathon. The Redhounds would win their next 2 games and earn a spot in the Sweet 16, but would bow out in the opening round to former Corbin coach Billy Hicks and Scott County 68-49.
Now, Bell County would get its revenge the following season, beating the Redhounds in overtime to win the 13th Region Championship, 54-49. Good stuff by Josh, as always. I didn't mean to hit you.
Absolutely, yeah, you just hit me. Coming up next, college basketball, a little EKU and some SEC games.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a lot of that. I have to read it. It's not in the show, but Mama McCracken, she was really excited for the WVU game. They lost today, though, to number 2 Oklahoma after beating number 1 Kansas.
But we're not teasing that game.
I know.
Jamie's ad-lib skills are lacking right now, so we'll be right back.
We're not going to have that. Welcome back. Rematch and revenge time for the Kentucky women tomorrow. The 9th-ranked Wildcats will play Auburn Sunday afternoon at Memorial Coliseum.
The Cats lost their second game of this season this past Thursday night against number 2 South Carolina. That other loss was to Auburn a couple of weeks ago at Auburn. Matthew Mitchell says that playing the same team twice within a couple of weeks keeps the loss fresh on the girls' minds. The Tigers snapped a 7-game losing skid when they beat the Cats on January 3rd.
I sure hope so. I mean, I hope that they understand how hard that game was for us and how important it is for us to trying to become the best team we can be. great opportunity to turn around and try to correct some of those mistakes. So I think in this situation, this is a positive for us, and it being fresh on our minds because we were really out-hustled.
46 meeting all-time between Kentucky and Auburn. The Tigers hold the lead in the all-time series, 26-19. The Wildcats 13-2 in the season. Auburn sits at 12-5. You can watch this game on the SEC Network. It's slated for a 1 o'clock tip time. Of course, we'll have highlights in the 6 p.m. Sportscast. So welcome in here. This is the Let's Go Around the college basketball landscape now. It's our college basketball segment in the locker room this week. March Madness is approaching.
Yeah, this year, and Joe Lenardi, ESPN's bracketologist, only has one team from the Ohio Valley Conference in March Madness, and that's Belmont as a 12 seed. These guys, the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, put simply, must play a lot better if they want to make it back to the tournament for the second straight year.
Yeah. EKU on the road this afternoon, taking on Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. Second half, Javonte Hawkins, pump fake, strong take. 2 of his 10. Later, EKU down 2. No side of mayo today. A full jar of it. Nick Mayo. He led the Colonels at 28. EKU up 1.4 seconds ago. EKU now down 2, 67-65. Jarrell Rochelle for the win. EKU falls on the road, 67-65.
Number 19, South Carolina hosting Missouri down in Columbia. Wes Clark drives in for the Tigers, dishes off to D'Angelo Smith for the score. Missouri, though, they're down 3. To the second half, Sindarius Thornwell, being aggressive, takes it strong to the rack for the hoop and the harm. Gamecocks now by 8, and then another one. Another one. No, not DJ Khaled. Another one opportunity in the paint for South Carolina as it goes on to beat Missouri at Colonial Life Arena 81-72.
Another one. College basketball highlight. Texas A&M looking to win its first 5 conference games since the 1985-86 season. Aggies on the fast break. Oh my goodness. Admon Gilder, A&M up by 12. Nice ball movement here by Georgia as Charles Mann. Oh, yeah, that's a man move right there. Didn't dunk it, but finished. Bulldogs, those still down 8. Gilder had the points earlier, now an assist. DJ Hogg with the 3 ball. Number 15, Texas A&M wins this one, 79-45 over the Georgia Bulldogs.
Number 7, Xavier at Marquette. Marquette head coach Wojo, because I can't say the real name. Xavier head coach Chris Mack ready to go. First half, Marquette up 4. Duan Wilson buries the 3 ball. Later, the Musketeers being scrappy. Larry Austin pokes it away. Then, let's run the court because his teammate feeds him. Part of a 21-0 run by Xavier. 50 seconds to go in the half. Xavier gonna give it to you. James Farr from close range. Farr came off the bench, had 16. Xavier up 12.
X gonna give it to you.
No. Second half, another steal for the Musketeers. Kaiser Gates not even happy anymore. The rim on the other end. Xavier wins at 74-66. These two will meet again in Cincinnati on February 6th.
Number 3, Maryland returning home after a tough loss to Michigan Tuesday. There's the turtle. Jaquan Lyle turns the corner, down the lane, finishes. Good finger roll there. State down 2. Maryland with the nice ball movement now. As Robert Carter dishes the ball to, that's Diamond Stone. That's a sweet name, Diamond. Lyle driving to the basket again, but he's blocked by Jake Lehman. Terps on the fast break. It's Mello. Trimble. He lobs it up to Stone for the dunk. Maryland puts up triple digits. Terps win it 165. All right, let's stay on the highlights. Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard today. Number 2, Campbellsville hands UPike, the women, their first loss of the season, 67-54, while the UPike men get the win on the road, 81-67 over number 21, Campbellsville. So tough loss for the UPike women.
Yes, but the UPike men and women, they will be our game of the week this coming Thursday, January 31st, as they host Georgetown. Should be a pretty exciting doubleheader for us here on This TV and WYMT.com.
Yeah, we'll close out the show next with our play of the week, plus National Football League highlights.
Yes, the Patriots and the Chiefs AFC divisional round winner goes to the conference championship.
Time for our play of the week. It's Lulu, AJ Chisholm, McCordia, the Steel, and the Jets, and the bucket. Lots of English. But wait a minute, this play isn't done, by the way. That's why it's a play of the week. Should be plays of the week. Chisholm punching it out there. Another steal to Raymond Mercado. and he finishes. That's the whole play. So you get 2 plays for a play of the week. AJ Chisholm, Accordia, they win the 14th Regionale Championship tonight against JBS. Lulu with our play of the week. Let's do NFL now. The division round of the NFL playoffs beginning today.
Yeah, let's start in the AFC with the Patriots and the Chiefs. Terrific Tom Brady and the Patriots hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, winner to the AFC Championship. Pats on the board first in the first. Brady to Rob Gronkowski, 8-yard score, 7-0. New England to the second quarter now. Brady showing off his mobility here. Sees nothing. Oh, so he just tucks it and runs, dives in for the end zone. But he's rolled short. He would punch it in on the next play. 14-3 New England. Now 14-6 in the third. Another Brady to Gronk connection. This one from 16 yards out. And New England is out to a 21-6 lead. But here come the Chiefs. Charkandrick West scores on the 1-yard option play to pull KC within 7, 27-20, but Gronk recovers the onside kick for New England, and the Patriots advance 27-20 over the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, this game just ended. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the desert battling Carson Palmer and the Cardinals. Arizona strikes first. Palmer, corner of the end zone to Michael Floyd. 8-yard touchdown, 7-0 Cards. Pack now on the move. Rodgers goes deep. Look at oh my goodness. The former Kentucky Wildcat, Randall Cobb, take another look. Nullified though by offsetting penalties, so Cobb would also leave with an injury and not return. Now 7-3 in the second. Palmer drops back. He's dropped for a loss. Julius Pepper. Skip to the fourth now. Arizona leading 20-13. Aaron Rodgers, 3 seconds to go. He needs something. He's got something. Jeff Janis, who? I have no idea. I don't know where he went to college. That ties the game at 20 and forces overtime. In NOT, Cardinals receive. They take 3 plays to get 75 yards down the field. And that's what happens. Larry Fitzgerald just runs it in. Ball game. Go to the scoreboard. The Cardinals are into the NFC Championship 26-20, so they'll play in the NFC Championship game. So here's your Sunday slate of playoff football. First, the NFC Divisional Playoff game. So the Cardinals will play the winner of this game, Seattle and Carolina. They meet up at 1:05 at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. And then after that, right here on WYMT, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. They face off at approximately 4:40 from Denver in the AFC Divisional Playoffs. Of course, the winner will play the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. All right, NBA now. John Wall and the Wiz hosting the Celtics. Third quarter, Wall. A lot of English. How about Marcin Gortat here? Coming up with a steal and Wall. Wiz up by 3, 94-91. Skip with about a minute left to go in regulation. Wiz down 3. They're only down 1 now because Wall jammed it at home. All right, Wizards down 2. Wall. See, when you need it most, you got to make it. He didn't. Wall with 36 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, 7 steals, 1 block. Wiz lose though, 119-117. So you do all that. You have such a great game that you can't make the little bunny. What up with that? Little bunny.
Yeah.
Come on. He's like right there.
I can't do that, but I can do the John Wall.
Okay, please stop. Please stop.
I'm tired. I want to go home and I want to cough so bad. I've done a pretty good job, right?
You did. You did a very good job. Also, I was going to ask you something. Oh, you got the Harry Potter question right, which I'm very proud of you. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Correct.
That was good. And so that's it. That'll wrap up the show. I have no idea what I wrote.
Do you want to read right there?
I said that was fun. I like what we did. Did you like what we did? Did you have fun?
I don't have any stories that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, see, last week I asked you what your favorite food at Not Central was. So I thought we could make it like a theme. Like, do you have any funny stories from this week? I guess not. Nothing happened.
Nothing fun happened to me whatsoever.
She's just in misery of a cough. All right, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Good night.